Previous class we have discussed regarding the serial port control register, how to utilize the serial port control register for different modes of operation at different baud rates, how exactly we can utilize the pin number SCON.5 to have a communication under different modes of operation, and what will happen to your enable return, that is RI, TI, receive bit, transmit bit, all these pins, what will happen if we are operating at different modes of operation. All these topics we have discussed in the previous session. In this session we are going to see the serial buffer register. The serial buffer register is important when we wanted to store the data. So it is nothing but S buffer. It is represented with a term called S buffer. S buffer. S buffer is nothing but serial buffer which is used to store the data both on your transmitting side as well as on your receiving side. So now what is meant by a serial buffer? Serial buffer, it is a register. It is a register that is represented with S buffer. It is a 8-bit register which is used to store the data. So when you have a transmitter and receiver, so the transmitter will transmit the data to the receiving using a channel or bus. So bus is nothing but a group of wire. To transmit the data has to be available, right? So that will be available on your S buffer register. So from this S buffer register, your transmitting will receive the data. Once the data is received in the transmitter from your S buffer, it starts to place the bits of the data onto the communication channel so that the receiver can receive it. Once the receiver receives the data, it tries to put the data onto your same S buffer register, not the same S buffer register. On your receiving side also, you will be having a S buffer register where it is required to store the received data from your transmitter. So this is how your S buffer register is working. So it holds, your S buffer is nothing but it is a 8-bit register that holds your byte of data. So I will show some examples how you have to use that S buffer register. So S buffer register means SUB, right? So if I wanted to store the data R in S buffer register, what instruction I have to use is move. That is MOV, it is your data transfer instruction. I am going to store the data in S buffer. So move S buffer, comma. I know what data to be stored. So I can use it as a immediate addressing mode. The data to be stored is R. Since R is nothing but your ASCII, I can put a code. I can put R over here. So if I wanted to represent any ASCII code, I have to use this particular instruction. So otherwise, suppose if I wanted to add a hexadecimal data corresponding to this R, what I can do is I can give move S buffer, comma, hash 44H. If I wanted to use a hexadecimal data to be stored onto this S buffer register. Suppose if I want to store an ASCII D, I have to use the instruction move. Move is the data transfer instruction that has to be used for moving the data from your source to destination. S buffer, comma, hash D. Because D is ASCII, so I am going to use like this. Suppose if I wanted to copy the content of your accumulator to S buffer register. You consider I wanted to copy the content of your accumulator to your S buffer register. So for that, what I need to use is move. I wanted here accumulator is your source and S buffer is your destination. So I have to use the instruction MOV. MOV, it is the data transfer. You wanted to transfer the data from source to destination. So I wanted to load S buffer with the content of your accumulator. So I can write like this. Move S buffer, comma, A. Suppose if I wanted to copy the content of the your S buffer register to accumulator. That is, I wanted to copy the content of your S buffer to accumulator. This is going to be your source and accumulator is going to be your destination. So in this condition, you wanted to use the instruction MOV. I wanted to copy S buffer to A. So MOV A comma S buffer. Clear? So in different ways you can use this S buffer register to store your byte of data. Now we will be seeing one program. I wanted to tell what is the steps required to transmit the data serially. These are all the steps. It is a mandatory steps that you have to follow for for transmitting your data. The key points to be noted. To transmit the data, the key points to be noted is, first you have to load your TMOD register. Why? TMOD is nothing but it is your 8-bit register that is meant to assign the modes of operation, that is timer modes of operation. To transmit the data serially via TXT, or you wanted to receive the data serially, always you have to use an 8-bit auto reload in case of your timer mode. 8-bit auto reload. Why I want to use an 8-bit auto reload in the sense, for example, in a railway station or in an airport, you might have seen, so the particular train number is going to arrive at so and so time and it is going to get depart. So that information is common and it has to display it continuously for every 10 seconds or for every 20 seconds like that. So when you cannot load the data again and again. So suppose if you are loading the data again and again, the time taken to process the instruction is going to increase. For that, what you can do is, you can select the timing mode where the data will be loaded automatically. So in that sense, we are going to prefer 8-bit auto reload and we need to set the baud rate. So the first step is you have to load your TMOD register with the 8-bit auto reload, that is mode 3 operation in case of your timer, and also you have to set your baud rate. So at what timings, at what is the how many bits of information can be transferred at a time. So that will be defined with the help of your baud rate. So TMOD, it is a register. You need to load it with a mode 3 operation. Why? Because you have to use mode 3 operation in the sense, mode 3 operation in a timer, it is a 8-bit. I will show the TMOD register configuration. So the first 4-bit, it is for your timer 0 and the next one it is for your timer 1. This will define your modes of operation. For timer 1, it is going to define the modes of operation. Okay, and this will define whether it is going to operate as a counter or timer. Here also it is defined the counter or timer, and the last one, it is going to be operated with a gate signal. Whether you are going to operate the timer by means of your hardware or software. In case if you are going to operate the timer by means of software, this is going to be 1. If you are going to operate the timer by means of software means 0, hardware means it is equal to 1. And C bar, T bar. So C is your counter and T is your timer. Counter is your active high signal, that is when you give 1 in this particular block, the timer 1 will act as a counter. Suppose if you give 0 in this block, the timer 1 will act as a T1 will act as a timer, and M1 and M0 will define the modes of operation. This is the bit pattern of your TMOD register. So in this bit pattern, you have to load the value of TMOD in such a way that I wanted to operate at 8-bit auto reload. 8-bit auto reload is nothing but it is your mode 3. It is mode 3, and also you have to define the baud rate to transmit the data, that is how much bits of data per second it has to be transmitted. All these things will be the first step while transmitting the data serially in case of your 8051. The next one is I need to load the data. Suppose if I have used T1, that is timer 1, I have to load this particular T1 with some data, that is TH. I have to load it with the baud rate so that it will maintain certain time period. Then I have to use SCON register. SCON means it is a serial port control register where we will be defining the modes of operation, that is whether we are going to operate it with the 8-bit UART, 8-bit UART with a 12 baud rate or a 64 baud rate or 32 baud rate or with a variable baud rate. All these things will be defined in this SCON register. Then I have to make the display to work or to transmit the data, you have to start your timer. So to start the timer, you have to use the instruction called setbtr. Suppose if I am going to use timer 1, I will be using setbtr1. Then once the timer run bit has been started, frequently you have to check your timer flag. If I am going to use TR1, then the corresponding timer flag will be TF1. TF1 will be checked till the timer flag is not having a bit. That is, until this timer flag is equal to 1, the particular loop has to run. Once the timer flag is set, once the timer flag TF1 is set, you need to come out of the loop and you have to clear your timer run bit and clear your timer flag. Then you have to go back and you need to repeat it from step 5. That is, again and again, if it has to repeat the instruction, then you have to go back to step number 5. This is how you can transmit the data serially in case of your 8051 microcontroller. In the next class, I will be discussing how to write a program to transmit the data serially in 8051. Thank you, students.